Awesome. Hello, everybody. Welcome from wherever you are in the world. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the power of TikTok Shop in terms of acquiring customers, but also retaining them, increasing that loyalty. So what we're experiencing in today's world is this seismic shift in the way commerce and consumers shop. Today, the journey from discovery to purchase is shorter than ever, and brands embracing that transition are seeing extraordinary results. Brands like Elf Cosmetics are generating millions of dollars in GMV using creators who genuinely love their products to power their social strategy. But then there are also brands like Cider, a newer fashion brand founded in 2020. By utilizing TikTok Shop's live features as well as others, they're generating millions in GMV, proving that you don't need decades of history to achieve success. And then we all know about Goldie. Deploying an innovative incentive program, they drove $4.1 million in sales in 30 days, creating a fire under thousands of creators driving their strategy. These examples aren't isolated successes. They reflect a broader transformation in commerce where consumers can discover, engage with, and buy from brands in one seamless experience. And this entire ecosystem is being powered by TikTok. It's a great time to be alive. I'm Jeremy Fenderson, the Senior Director of Strategy at AdQuadrant. I'm super passionate about connecting brands with customers that offer them products that will improve their lives and they'll love and want to share. At AdQuadrant, we help D2C brands scale by focusing on creative that captures attention, precise measurement to allow for amazing decision-making, and enabling data-driven strategies to unlock growth. We've really leaned into the shift in commerce by helping brands harness the power of TikTok Shop and social commerce. But today, I'm going to share with you how this new era of commerce, can help your brand not only attract new customers, but build loyalty and engage communities of raving fans. We're going to read between the lines and take some kind of common sense, very practical steps to how we take people from understanding who your brand is and the fact that you might offer a product to really being loyal to purchasing from you directly through this new opportunity. By the end of this session, you'll walk away with clear, actionable insights on how to leverage TikTok Shop and social commerce to drive extraordinary results for your brand. So TikTok's rise has been nothing short of incredible, right? Over the past 5 years, it's managed to build a community of over 1 billion active users globally, making it one of the fastest growing platforms in the world. And it's not just its scale, it's who's on the platform. With nearly 60% of its users being under 30, TikTok has captured the next generation of consumers, and we know the domino effect. It will age up over time, and it already is starting to do that. On average, people are spending 95 minutes a day on TikTok, which is unheard of. And brands that are tapping into this kind of attention are seeing massive results. The lesson here is clear, though. TikTok isn't just another social platform. It's where the next generation of consumers and shoppers are spending their time, and people are already adopting it into their current shopping flow. Now, one of the things that makes TikTok truly stand out from other platforms is that most other platforms use a social graph, basically showing you content from people you follow or their interests. But TikTok flips that on its head with what's called a interest graph, right? Its For You page curates content based on what you've engaged with in the past, what you've watched, and what you have searched for, as well as what you'd likely be interested in. So as a brand, you don't need millions of followers to get your content seen. Instead, TikTok's algorithm works to show your content to people who are already interested in things you offer, your category of expertise, the problems that you solve. This approach is why TikTok drives 6 times more engagement than maybe other platforms, and why it's so effective in helping brands find net new customers. It's an amazing thing. Now, TikTok isn't just about fun content anymore, although they've found success doing that. Over the past year, it's become a social commerce giant. Through TikTok Shop, brands can take users straight from discovery to purchase without ever leaving the platform, and the results speak for themselves. And what's even more exciting is that 60% of users say they've been inspired to make a purchase after seeing a product on TikTok. It's a brand new day with this platform. In the US alone, TikTok Shop generated $4 billion in GMV in this past year. And they're planning to grow as we look at 2024. For any D2C brand, This is an opportunity to not only drive revenue, but also build a connection, a stronger connection with your audience through this seamless shopping experience. If we reduce friction, find ourselves directly in front of our target customer and allow them to purchase, we've already checked the box on making it convenient to bring them into our world. And because we're going to offer amazing products that people want to come back to, buy, and share, you have that first touch point that's very easy. That first interaction and traction is very easy. And then we can build that relationship through content, which I'll talk more about. So we all know the idea of a marketing funnel, but TikTok Shop actually enables an infinite loop of discovery, engagement, and loyalty through a mix of different types of content, whether that's affiliate content from creators to what the brand puts out there in content. And then more importantly, live shopping as well, where you can literally in real time interact with customers. The loop starts with organic discovery. Users might come across an affiliate video where we have an amazing creator that's speaking passionately about how to use the product, how it's changed their lives, how convenient they make it. And those creators may fit numerous different personas. Or brand posted content where you have an opportunity to really take control of the narrative and educate your target customer on exactly what the product does, what your mission is, how it's affected other customers. You also have live shopping sessions or ads. All of this content is driven by TikTok's interest graphs, ensuring that it's tailored to the preferences of the user on the platform, but then also introduces them to new things that they may not even know that they'd like. It's the product that you didn't know you needed, or the content that you didn't know you needed in your life, but it made your day better. This is where TikTok really shines. Users engage with this content, whether liking, commenting, watching, and they enter into TikTok's retargeting ecosystem, seeing more of the same or similar content, which then drives them towards consideration and then purchase. After the purchase, it's not over because they keep coming back to this platform to engage in content, to see interesting things, to learn, be educated, to search. So the loop continues, encouraging further participation. Users get to see more content around your product, complimentary products, product reviews, how-to videos, right? If I buy a camera, I'm buying it not just for the camera, but for the result it provides. In this case, it may be to capture amazing photos of my family so I can remember them forever. So I'm going to come back to the platform and search for how do I use the camera? How do I get the best resolution out of it? The platform allows brands to teach customers how to maximize their products, and they keep in this flow, in this infinite loop of discovery, right? So this cycle strengthens retention and loyalty by keeping users engaged across multiple touch points, making them more likely to return and continue interacting with the brand. I buy that camera because I've seen people take amazing photos and pictures. I get the camera and I go back and I search for how to use it best. What lens do I use? Because you figure out that a high-end camera also has hundreds of different types of lenses for different uses. So the journey continues with that. And because the brand introduced me to the camera that I now have in my hands, I continue to buy more things from the brand, wanting to learn more from the brand, engaging with the brand's content. This loop is infinite, and it's one that's amazing opportunity for the brand to drive that loyalty, but also for customers who not only want to buy a product, but they want to achieve an end result, which is why they bought it in the first place. So now that we've seen how users follow this infinite loop, let's take a closer look at the step-by-step journey for viewers to make a purchase on TikTok Shop. TikTok has made the process frictionless, making it easy for users to go from discovery to checkout in just a few steps. Initially, they'll engage with content. Users will come across content, a piece of content, whether it's brand, affiliate, or an ad, and then they'll click that content. You have a little orange button there at the bottom where you can click that button and go to the product detail page. They're interested and they haven't gone to a website yet. They're still on TikTok. They can now look at the product detail page and see what size, color, orientation they want. From there, they click straight on in, select their options, add to cart, and checkout. They're still on platform, right? And this makes it very seamless for the user to purchase a product and keep moving and enjoying things on the platform as well. When it comes to growing your business on TikTok Shop, the opportunity to acquire customers is only half of the equation. When you look at it, there are going to be brands that are established, which is a small number now, but most of the brands, and likely most of the brands looking at this presentation, either haven't started yet, so they're a new brand on the platform, or haven't reached a substantial level of GMV. So there are a number of loyalty and retention tactics and strategies you can put in place to ensure that first purchase is not the end of the relationship, right? So when you look at it, we're going to talk about the left-hand side, which is really a new brand. You can do things around generating a certain type of content at a certain volume, responding to your comments and responding to the content that you're putting out there, and also live shopping. We'll go into more detail. And then as you get yourself more established, TikTok offers more robust tools that are similar to the functionality that we're used to in building retention and loyalty around customer segmentation, being able to personalize messaging to audiences, and making sure you automate your best flows. But let's talk about it. To build real loyalty, it's essential to map out your consumers' pain points and goals and show, and show how your products really meet their needs. Here you have, for example, Jessica Smith. We've all seen this. This is a persona or an avatar, but I want to double click on something for a second. You may have an exercise where you've done some persona research and you've built out this avatar, but this is actually the detail, the meat, the intel necessary for you to really get to know each of your customers, what their pain points are, what drives them, what their needs are. And you want to go into great detail and do that across maybe your top 5 personas, depending on the makeup of your product. This is huge because the demand for content on TikTok is real, right? Depending on your goals and your North Star, you're going to want to, as a brand, post between 30 and 90 pieces of content a month. And though that content's not going to come out of thin air. So you first need to start with truly understanding your customer base. I like to say, if they walk through the door, you should be able to recognize them and speak their language and make them feel like you know them at a deeper level. Once you have that information as a brand, you can do things like tell customer stories via TikTok content. You can talk about your brand story, which gets the customer invested in that. You can educate the customer on how to use the product, not from a here's the feature standpoint, but from a here's how it can impact your life standpoint. And we know what points to hit because we've done our persona research upfront in depth. You can also answer questions for customers as well. As a brand, it is mission critical for you to have content on the platform at scale that really serves to and speaks to the needs of your customer base. And the best place to start is by knowing your customer and then building out a content strategy, based on what you know. These examples in this diagram on the right are some, but you can go into perpetuity in terms of what content you need to push out there. The other side of that is the data behind your content. You'll get all the metrics back in terms of what content resonates with your customer base, what gets the most comments, what are questions being asked based on your content. And from there, it's like a flywheel that continues to grow and evolve. You'll know your customer base, and you'll be able to post content at scale that allows you to get out into the market and really flood that feed. And you can also leverage that data to understand what's really resonating with your customer base. So know who you're talking to. Don't be silent on the platform. Be out there and really make noise in a way that resonates with your target audience, and continue to use data to figure out what's working so you can continue to drive success, whether that's driving sales because customers are buying from you, or that's creating loyalty because the customer knows that you can speak directly to them and prefers to buy from you, or that's also attracting creators who see that you understand the customer base and you provide a product that is valuable to that customer base. Also, engaging with customers to build trust is huge. Brands like Guru Nanda had mastered this approach by answering questions not only in text form, but also through personalized videos, adding a more personal touch. I've never received a comment or response from some of my favorite brands, but I'm telling you, if I did, they would rank higher when it comes to who I purchase from next. Even if the price is more expensive, the shipping is longer. A personal connection with the real people on the other side of the brands that I know, like, and trust will take my potential customers' loyalty to the next level and retain them. We all know that there are multiple options out there, right? But a brand that connects by responding to comments, by being proactive about educating their market through video responses and through text-based responses via content garners a different level of loyalty and trust than those that do not. And if you look across your top 5 competitors and you see that they're not doing that or not providing the responses that you would, there's a massive opportunity for you to be light years ahead of your competitors just by engaging in the comments with your audience. But I wouldn't make it surface level. I would go deeper. I would really dig into why they're asking the question. I would give them relevant responses. The selling will take care of itself. So it's not just about, here's the link to the product that you're looking for, we'll give you a discount. It's really unpacking what the comments are about, what the customer's looking to solve, and giving them value. And in return, you'll increase their loyalty to your brand and you'll be the preference, even though somebody might have free shipping or a lower price or any other benefits, right? It's those interactions that will really take loyalty to a new level for your potential and existing customers. This is a major one, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about it like this right now, but live shopping, yes, it's a major opportunity to drive sales. But more importantly, it is a real-time way to interact with your potential customers, getting them to buy, as well as your existing customers. You and your team put a real face and a name and an environment and a dialogue together when you are on live shopping. And if I were implementing a strategy, yes, I would look at driving revenue through live and driving GMV through live. But the other side of that is, what is the sentiment within live? How can I make sure that we create and call out the viewers by name in live? How do we answer all of their questions? How do we record that and come back on the next live and keep this dialogue going that is front and center because of TikTok Shop with my audience? Whether you engage with 10 people or 20,000 people, each and every interaction that feels personalized with a customer increases that, what we would call maybe a customer's internal loyalty score with your brand. So going live has goals, one of driving GMV, but I would also score that by how many customers we interacted with. How do we solve their problems? How do we educate them on the product? How do we show them how to buy? But also, how do we show them additional products that would improve their lives? Yes, that would improve GMV and sales, but on the other side of that, you're helping them get to the result that they want. And that means they'll be raving fans for you, and you'll be at the top of their list in consideration when it's time to buy again, buy the next product, or buy something similar. Now, when you think about the TikTok Shop strategy, 60-70% of your GMV may come from creators under an affiliate model, right? But there's a nuance there that I would really want you to think about when it comes to increasing loyalty. A creator can promote your product and what it does and how it helps their lives. But I would look at my creator pool as a portfolio, and a certain percentage of the creators are really driven towards driving sales, and that's great. But I would also goal a certain percentage of the creators I work with to actually be raving fans of the product. So the language would be comparatively different. It would be, on one end, buy this product, it's amazing, I love that it worked. On the other end, a raving fan would say something like, I love this brand, I love their mission, their customer service is amazing. They always come out with products that I have to get because they really help me do XYZ, right? So I know there are other options out there, but this is the brand to go with. Both of these examples would drive GMV, but the latter really communicates why this creator is loyal to your brand, and they can impart that message into potential customers, and that will change the retention and the loyalty of those being introduced to your brand through these creators. So long story short, you should have a portfolio of creators, but in that portfolio of creators you're working on TikTok Shop, you want raving fans. And the talking points and what they say about your brand in addition to your product will be the game changer and the difference. Now, for those that are established, and this will be later on down the line, TikTok Shop has powerful tools to that are built right into the platform that allow you to segment customers. They have a CRM essentially, and you can group customers by recent buyers, repeat customers, lapsed customers, and really tailor your outreach after they become customers to personalized messages. And we can run the usual best practice and plays around driving more sales from these customers and increasing loyalty. Again, for the brands just starting out and the ones that don't have substantial GMV, I would focus on the previous points I made in this presentation around building that connection. This solution is available to a smaller segment of brands, and you have to work with your reps to get this unlocked. But know that as you build traction, TikTok is already working on, has tools available for you to go deeper and really build that retention and that loyalty. Now, TikTok Shop represents one of the most compelling opportunities for brands in today's social commerce landscape. As we've seen from the examples of Elf, Cider, and Goldie Nutrition, TikTok Shop's blend of discovery and seamless purchasing is driving significant growth already, right? But beyond sales growth, TikTok offers robust opportunities and tools for customer retention and loyalty. Whether you're a brand just starting off on TikTok Shop, which a lot of us are, or are already seeing traction, there is still untapped potential in using TikTok's tools and opportunities to engage that customer base and get them to not just purchase once, but multiple times. And when it's time to make that next purchase, make sure your brand is at the top of the list. If you'd like, you can scan the QR code on the screen here to get access to a checklist we've created that covers a lot of what I just talked about today. It breaks down some of these strategies and tactics because we want you to be able to leave this presentation and take action. Hopping on the TikTok Shop, engaging with the content, understanding your customer base, putting content out there so that you really educate your customer on why they should buy the product, who you are, customer stories, engaging with them in live, and really taking an understanding of who you're selecting to promote your brand. It's an amazing opportunity. Q4 is already upon us, and I'd be thinking about TikTok Shop from an acquisition, loyalty, and retention standpoint in Q4, but also more importantly into 2025.
Back. Thank you. A really huge virtual round of applause for Jeremy. It was a super interesting keynote session. I've actually been thinking about this session ever since we ran through the content last week. There is so much that I didn't know about TikTok, probably because I'm old, but hey. I'm particularly intrigued by the CRM piece and the fact that TikTok are kind of keeping the data within their platform. You know, we get so many e-com stores coming to us with questions around how to keep customers they get on Amazon, for example, loyal when they can't actually access their data to use it in emails and it flows, etc. Mm-hmm. It sounds like this will be a similar story. Would you say that's true?
I would say that there's not an availability of the actual customer data currently, but I would look at this as a broader ecosystem, right? If you look at some of the data and some of the things that are being published now, TikTok Shop has a halo effect. Right. So you may see somebody may see your content initially and a portion of them will transact on the platform, but a portion of them are going to search and then go directly to your website and purchase as well. So the impact reaches far beyond the platform. And while currently you will not get the customer data from TikTok, you can use their CRM. But if I'm managing my e-commerce and D2C business, I'm looking at my TikTok Shop as a way to acquire customers and manage the tools necessary within the system using the CRM to communicate with them. But I'm also managing the impact on, if I'm on Amazon, my Amazon sales. I'm looking at my brand search volume. I'm looking at, as I scale on TikTok Shop, how many more customers I acquire, and it's looking at how we connect the dots between the two of them. So while the current customer data is they're not giving that currently, the CRM tools will allow you to get to that end goal, which is still, how do we get them to come back and purchase again? How do we get them to be more loyal? And because we offer amazing products that people want to come back and buy again and again, they'll end up engaging with the brand further on your website.
Makes a lot of sense. So you mentioned a few different metrics that you would keep an eye on there. What would you say what's the number one metric that you think brands should keep an eye on to see whether the time they're spending on TikTok is actually paying off or not?
Well, for us, it's a very interesting question. We love nailing things down to a contribution margin. We want to make sure that the brand is actually profitable. Top line GMV is great. We want to make sure there's money in the bank left over. So for us, the number one metric is there's two things: building a strategy and a program where you understand what your investments are across samples you send, creators commission, advertising, rolling that up into a top line GMV, but also understanding your costs so that at the bottom, there's a certain percentage of contribution margin left over. That means we're making money, right? So there's a whole structure and plan behind it. But if you're negative for a certain period of time or in totality, or you can't see how profitable you are, that's where we're going first. And everything else backs into that.
Fair enough. And how long would you give it? How long can it be negative for? Is there a time frame for it to build up? Or?
There's a stage when you first start off, and it depends on how aggressive you want to be. Like that stage could be from 3 to 6 months, right? Depending on how aggressive you want to be with it. But again, you can be very practical about the level of your investment. And I'm gonna give you a couple things. You can be practical about the level of your investment. I would also be strategic in what products I lean into to promote on TikTok Shop, right? If you have a product that has a very low margin, very high costs, right? And you don't really know if it sells very well, even in your ecosystem, that's not where I would start. I would start with a product that has a reasonable AOV, right? Maybe $50 or below, depending, right? Product where you have historic sales performance, product that you can demonstrate visually and it's easy to understand through video content. And then from there, that's where I would go first, right? So that's what I would think about. I would stack it based off of my winners, what already has traction on the platform. That's where I would lean in first to make sure that you have that level of profitability.
That's super interesting, actually. And then you get into the realms of, working really closely with your product teams, looking at inventory that you've got left over, etc.
100%. And then real quick, I'll say that a flywheel happens because when you first start, right, you might not have many sales. You'll have zero, right? Everybody starts at zero. But as your product gets traction on the platform, you gain that social proof, and then more creators will want to work with you. More customers see the number of reviews and products sold, and you start to get the snowball effect. So it isn't like a 1 + 1 = 2. It's like 1 + 1 = 10, right? It starts to grow in multiple areas.
So for a new form of marketing, actually a very traditional, typical old form
100%,
of marketing.
100%.
Amazing. I've got a few questions from the audience here. I'm going to paraphrase in the interest of time, but these are my questions too. I have been wondering this myself. Target demographic. So this person's selling to a real mix of ages and generations. They're not all young people who are going to be on TikTok and understand the platform. Is it still worth investing in TikTok as a marketing channel? Or if you have a whole range of demographics, is it best to leave it for now?
So for me, while there's a concentration of maybe a younger demographic, the age range is wide, right? Every age is on the platform. So a chess move I would do is I would take my product, understand who my buyer personas are, and I would seed that product with a myriad of age ranges of creators, right? Because they can tell the story and it will resonate with authenticity better than the brand can. And I would judge the data based on that. Again, you don't have to blow up the world in month 1, right? What you do is you say, what's my target GMV? What products am I focusing on? What are my personas? How many products do I want to send out in terms of samples? I would send that out and let the creators create the content and let them tell you, is it the 25 to 34-year-old female or is it the 50 to 55-year-old male that's buying? And it'll be a combination of your product, your offer, and your creator. Let the data speak to you. I think everybody, as long as your margins aren't razor thin, and which they shouldn't be, but everybody should try it out, but let seeding the market validate it for you. Your data is going to speak differently, but that's the way I would approach any brand. Yeah,
that's really smart. And actually thinking about it, different generations will inform each other as well. And very random example here, but at the weekend I was looking after my nieces and I got slapped with a fajita or tortilla. And I thought they were just playing. And then I showed someone this happening on video and they went, oh, the TikTok trend. I had absolutely no idea. So I guess my nieces could be showing me things that I haven't seen. I could be showing grandparents things they haven't seen. So if you seed it to different generations, it will actually still spread, I suppose.
100%.
Amazing. Speaking of funny trends on TikTok, I love this question actually. Do you recommend brands jumping on trends like the Deadpool dance, for example? So the exact question here is, should I be getting my founder to do the Deadpool dance?
I think that each brand should be true to themselves, right? I think that if there's a relevant way that if you have a really fun brand and that's what you're about, right? and that fits into who you are as a brand because you want to stay connected to who you are, yeah, go for it, right? But also, I think there's a massive amount of power in your founder just sitting down with a mobile device, a little tripod, and telling their story, right? Like, why are we here? How have we come from? Right? What do our customers have to say? What are we doing, right? And I would take it from that perspective and set goals around it, right? Like your founder story might not drive the most sales in the world, right? But it helps people understand who you are and why you're here, right? I also think that there are different members of the team, right? So your founder might do the founder story and have a level of authority and narrative, but you also might have a social media manager that's really tapped into exactly what the trends are, right? Stay true to yourself as a brand. Make sure that you're consistent in who you put yourself out there as. Know when there are times when hashtags and things are popping off, but this is a long game, right? The way to get the best reach and virality is to work with creators because they know what trends are moving and you can do that at scale. I would carve that out for them and have a small portion of that come from the brand, but stay true to who you are as a brand because we want consistency as a customer, right?
100%. We talk about that a lot with loyalty programs as well. You know, we see a lot of brands offering rewards in the form of charitable donations, etc. And, you know, those donations have to be relevant to your brand. They have to be genuine, authentic to a cause that you and your customers care about. Otherwise, it just loses that authenticity. I can completely see
100%.
that.
And I would say too, if you want to talk about how to gain traction, because trends are a way to get eyeballs, right? And get more people, get more reach, and reach is traffic. I would actually take a more psychology-based approach to it, right? Going back to the persona development that I talked about, right? And if we'll geek out for a second. If we break it down, you have less than 2 seconds to retain somebody on a TikTok video, right? And then you also need to retain them. You have to stop their scroll, retain them, tell them to do something in terms of educating and getting them to take action, right? I would look at videos and content more formulaically and apply who you're talking to on top of that, right? Yeah. So you want to have something that is broad, that reaches a broad set of people, that may be entertaining, but you also want to speak to exactly what will resonate with that target audience. So I think of everything like a portfolio. A certain set of your content might be around trends, right? We're going to focus on these trends, stay true to the brand. How do we flip that into something that works for us? But then there's, what does my target customer need to hear? Even if it's not about selling the product, maybe my target customer like literally deals with stress or anxiety or road rage, whatever it is, right? Like, how do I talk to them? And what will end up happening if you look at the three interactions there? You have like, comment, save, right? I would be focusing on how to light those buttons up, right? Or share is another one, right? So if you provide something of value, the person's going to save it. If you provide something of value, the person's going to share it. If you provide something that offers a conversation, they're going to comment. All of those push your reach out way further than maybe working on a trend, right? And they also have a lot more staying power and value to your audience. So I'll be thinking about it that way.
Yeah, it's interesting. As you've got my brain going, there's actually a huge opportunity to get really creative here.
100%.
There's a lot to think about and a lot of different directions you could go in, but a huge opportunity to be creative. And I think I should probably let our founders know if they're watching, don't worry, we're not going to make you do the Deadpool dance anytime soon.
Only if you think it's relevant, hey.
Amazing. This next question, also, this is actually also something I've been wondering. In your opinion, TikTok's growing, Instagram's still around. Is X, also known as Twitter, dead, in your opinion, for brands?
I wouldn't call it dead because the user base is still there. People, even my wife, for example, daily, like she uses this thing. It's a different type of audience. And I go back to something we used to talk about with different platforms. This is like people consume platforms differently, right? I go to TikTok to be engaged. It's now a search heavy platform. I can hear authentic commentary and be entertained. X has a certain place as well. So does Meta, so does Pinterest. So each of these platforms are serving a different purpose. And then there's a blend of the demographics that are on there. I wouldn't call it dead. I think it's something that still has an avid user base. I will also say, which is very interesting since we're talking about different platforms, is TikTok kind of broke the social commerce structure where the value exchange between creator and brand, it's now there. We now have the blueprint. We can 100% guarantee other platforms will follow suit. So I'd be looking at how to build the muscles on this platform and creating that framework. So when the others light up, you're right there, right? Like you don't want to be new to 3 platforms. You want to be new to the first one, right, that really broke the mold and extrapolate from there. So X isn't dead. It just has a live user base. But think about what these platforms do for their audience, right? When you want to evaluate, well, is it going out of style? What is it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Is obviously Instagram Shop came first. Are they starting to learn from TikTok? Are they starting to pick things up and emulate?
I think they're all watching, and I think they're all thinking about how they play this game, right? And I think for the consumer, it's that you get value because you get to understand with real people, and there's nothing wrong with it, but like a 4-star review and some words, that's different than you telling me about why you love the new air conditioner you bought, right? It's just totally different. But now it's what do we do next? So from the consumer, that's the value. From the creator, it's the value exchange in terms of monetary. But from the platforms want to keep creators on their platforms because creators make content. So as a platform, I'm looking at TikTok Shop and I'm saying, okay, how many creators do I have? Is that ebbing and flowing? Do I see a mass exodus of my creators over to this platform? And as a platform, I need to do everything possible to make sure content is produced so that people want to come. So I'm looking at TikTok, I'm looking at everybody and saying, who's offering things that make creators want to stay and who's offering things that create content that keep people on the platform. And I'm looking at TikTok saying, how do we do this in a way that works for us?
That makes a lot of sense. Fantastic. Thank you. Next question. Ooh, if you had to guess, or let's change it up slightly. If you were part of the TikTok development team, what do you think, where would you go next? What will they release next? Have you got any guesses as to what their next move might be?
I can't speak from like me talking to them directly. I can't release any of that. But if I'm them, I'm developing tools and solutions that make this even easier, right? That make it easier for customers to find products that they love, but also like other things, because we don't just buy products, right? So what else can I develop that that serves a consumer, right? That keeps them on the platform and serves a consumer. I would be looking at developing tools that makes it easier for brands to even get involved and help them understand where they need to go next to be successful, right? And then I'm looking at how I make the serving of content more and more intelligent, right? Like show me the latest show from X platform, Netflix, or wherever you want to go that I love, right? Based off of my interactions, right? So I'm looking at how to make it easier and provide more value for customers, how to make it easier and provide more value for brands, and then how to leverage my data to make an amazing customer experience, brand experience, and creator experience. If you keep making it easier, then it becomes a no-brainer. It is now, but this is just the start, right?
I think it's a really interesting point, and a lot of the stores that will be listening to this will be people who are wearing lots of hats, trying to do lots of different things, and then sort of sitting here probably thinking, great, so now I have to be an expert on TikTok and a great content creator as well, brilliant. But actually, yeah, the easier they can make it, then the more brands will be able to launch on the platform, and it will become a lot more accessible for a lot more people.
100%. And you can even see it now, depending on what views you look at, you start to see kind of AI-driven breakdowns of why this content worked, right? So they're helping inform creators in like what content they should put together. So you can already see kind of signals of that, right?
Yeah. Our good friend AI, of course. Fantastic. Okay, I'm afraid we're going to have to call time there and move on. I could keep talking about this for days. Jeremy, thank you so much for a really wonderful start to day 2 of our Autumn Loyalty Connect. So much useful information, so much energy in that keynote. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's itching to pick up their phone and get on TikTok right now. Jeremy, where can people reach you if they'd like to connect with you or Ad Quadrant? Sorry.
100%. I'm on LinkedIn myself if you want to search a profile there, but also go to adquadrant.com, right? See what we have going on. If you want to get in touch with us and talk to us about how you're thinking about TikTok Shop or just D2C growth in general, just hit the website, adquadrant.com. We'd be happy to speak with you. And we're definitely looking to help brands grow and connect with customers. It's a wild world out here, so happy to help.
It is a Wild West. Amazing. Thank you so much again for joining us. We will let you go, Jeremy, and we'll move on to our next session. Thank you again.
Thank you. Have a good one.